everyone. Welcome to Friday Night Live with the Trekkie Girls Part 2. We're firing all thrusters now. This is good. Sorry about that. If you were on Twitter, we were streaming live on there, but I forgot to set up the whole stream thing. Oh, hang on a minute. Let me just close that.
Oh, I didn't remind you to turn the sound off, did I?
I need the sound on to hear you is a problem. That's it. I just once I check all the streams, I forget to mute them. So yeah. Anyway, so like we say, it's Friday night. We're back. We're live, and we are going to be talking to the Star Trek expert, Dr. Trek, otherwise known as Larry Nemecek, as he goes by in real life. We're hoping he'll be joining us any minute now. We'll keep an eye out for Larry. He had a bit of an issue with his mouse running out of batteries, so hopefully that will all get sorted. Otherwise, we'll talk amongst ourselves for a bit. How are you guys doing? Let's see who we've got. Oh, let me open up the... Oh, you know what? I'm so out of it. I'm like... I've sort of forgotten to do...
Week off.
I know, a week off. We miss a Friday and that's it. Thanks to those of you who joined our Zoom chat the Friday before. That was really good fun. I enjoyed talking to everyone then. Pardon?
We've been live for 2 weeks.
No, we had, of course, it's probably why I'm a bit rusty here. We had a live chat, which was really good fun. Let's see, are we working on Facebook? What's going on with Facebook? Oh, this is a
Facebook's always broken.
Isn't it? Hi, Julian. Oh, we're sorry you missed our Zoom chat too.
Oh,
we are on Facebook. This is good. Oh, hi everyone. We got Jay, we got Tim. Hi. Lovely to see you all. I'm glad you like the Discovery background. I got this from one of StarTrek.com's tweets, which is quite cool. And Jeff, hi. Jeff, I thought that was so funny. Yeah, Jeff says that bridge could be Picard or Discovery. That's what we said, wasn't it? We think that the I can't remember the name, Riker's ship was probably just a Discovery redress. But hey, why not? You know, save the money.
Yeah. If he was on it already, you know.
Exactly. So we had a bit of excitement today. Not excitement, but a bit of sad news that San Diego Comic Con has been cancelled.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it?
I guess it makes sense.
Exactly. Right. Oh, we got.
It's cancelled.
Pardon?
2020 is.
Yeah, it is. But who isn't cancelled is Larry Nemecek because he is ready to join. Everyone, please welcome Larry. Let's get him in. Let's do all the whole. Get the camera. Oh, look at it. Hey, hi, Larry.
Hey.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you?
I'm good. It was kind of a harebrained day here. Let me cover up the ugly part of Trekland HQ, and I will no. It's so good to see your shining face.
It's so good to see you too, Larry. Yay. We were just saying about we've heard that San Diego Comic Con has been cancelled. First time in 50 years.
I think it's there you go. It's
Aww.
Yep. It's a year of many firsts.
And loss, maybe. Hopefully not.
No, I mean it's going to be a year. It's going to be a year of a lot of firsts in a lot of ways. So yeah.
Absolutely. So Larry, you've been working on lots of new projects. We've got some exciting times. You're obviously well versed in the podcast business, and you've got 2 new ventures coming up. Is that right?
Oh.
Yeah. It's, and when we say podcasts, it blurs together sometimes, but like the Trek Files is our podcast that I've done with Roddenberry. That's an actual podcast, and it's audio, and we have the documents there that we talk about from Gene's Files, and it's gone for 2 or 3 years, and we just came back from a hiatus, which started during the start of the Corona, cabin fever, shut down, stay at home, everything. And it's back, and I still do my Facebook on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock here, which is 9 o'clock your time. And people have lots of Brits and Germans and Austrians all getting on that. But the new stuff is I'm in an entrepreneur circle that was really all about trying to step in and do what we all do and just try to help out how we can. And with me, that's Star Trek. So I started two things. One was I just got on one day for 4 hours and just said, okay, everybody, come on if you want to feel like talking. Like a month ago when people were all still kind of reeling and figuring out what this was going to look like. And nobody thought that the summer conventions would go away back in, middle of March. But I knew they probably would. But since then, on Fridays, like in 2 hours, I have a Zoom meetup just like this called Trekland, a talk called Nonfiction Fridays.
Yeah.
Which has always going to be an Instagram story idea, and I just went, well, I'll just do it for this. So it's very simple. It's just I have a book a week, and everybody just meets. You get the Zoom ID, and there's a simple passcode on the Facebook. There's a Facebook page, so you just go there and get on. This will be the third one tonight, and the book is David Gerald's The Making of the Trouble with Tribbles.
Oh, cool.
So it's not a book meetup, because one thing I noticed is same thing as when I was a kid. When you Star Trek book, people think of the novels for some reason. 90% of the people go right to the novels. They never stop to think about all the great, making of books and the reference manuals. So that's one thing, and the other is something that starts tomorrow.
Ooh.
Yes, I know. I'm getting to say it here. We've been teasing it all week. So, and this is like multi-channel. I'm so proud. But Dr. Ali Matu, who's a good friend of mine, who's a big geek and an actual psychologist. We say I'm Dr. Trek and he's Dr. Ali, and he's a real doctor. We're starting a show called Life Support Live at noon Pacific. So that's 9 o'clock your time on Saturday. Not a weeknight, but on Saturday, and it's live on his YouTube, my Facebook Live, and we're doing a Twitch channel. And we're going to talk about Star Trek and geek out, but through the lens of mental health.
Great.
And, have fun. As we say, we're going to explore some new worlds that way, but wherever our mission takes us, we're still going to have fun along the way.
So,
Sounds brilliant.
We combined a Picard and a Pike speech into that. But anyway, and we have it where people text in or call us on Skype. So.
Oh, nice.
that sounds amazing.
Really good up there.
So will there be? How will you do the health one? How do you do that? Do you have different themes like, I don't know, depression or anxiety, or do you take Star Trek episodes and use that as the main theme?
We actually just grew out of a panel that was going to be at WonderCon in last month that was canceled. And we were going to do a virtual, like a lot of the conventions are doing, they're having virtual panels. Like people just come to your panel, only do it on Zoom or whatever. And then we thought, well, we could keep this going maybe. Again, we both felt like, let's do something for the community. And this was an area where he has a big geek following. He's a big Trek fan and a big Star Wars fan and everything. And I've done some panels with him before, and Dr. Drea, he usually reps Star Trek and she reps Star Wars, and they have some interesting discussions. But we each have our own audience and following, and he's been on HBO and Netflix. He's been a talking head for some specials. So he's no stranger to this. So we thought we could bring our audiences together even and learn a little bit. But yeah, we'll take it as we're going to start with Picard and talk about trauma and grief, and then have some themes for some of the different episodes, some series or characters. But again, the bottom line is this is not Psych 101 with a quiz tomorrow. we're gonna keep it lighthearted, but somewhere along the way, if there's something people can take away in daily life, and if something they can take away during Corona cabin fever days, then so much the better. And have a chunk where like at least half the show is set up for people to text in or call us on Skype.
Oh, well, that sounds cool.
Oh, really good.
I don't know if you know, Larry, but I trained as a bereavement counsellor, so I'm definitely tuning in if you're talking about grief. Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, and
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to say something. Yeah, no, that's... and...
We've got a delay, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, go on. Please, Larry. Yeah. Okay, I'll talk. So, have you got a particular... so you're starting with Picard. How do you find Star Trek has addressed mental health? Is it health as in any... Is it just mental health you're looking at, or is it health in general?
Yeah, we're talking about mood and mental health. He's a PhD psychologist and has been clinical. He's working on media projects now.
Okay.
But yeah, we got that. And but what you said is important, because one of my memories when I think about Star Trek and mental health, I think of that moment in with Captain Garth. When they walk in and they say, "Look, if we could just get him to eat this medicine, he'd be all better." And I go, part of this is Star Trek has always been very progressive and tried to be, but what's our perception of mental health, in the box mental health? Now, everybody, we all have our little, we all have setbacks, and we have little momentary whatever grief or trauma or anxiety, and then there's clinical diagnosis. Whatever. And some people are on medication, some people it's just, I just need to go talk to somebody for a couple of days, or the crash of '08, or the COVID shutdown, I lost my job, or, we lost a family member, or something happens that we have traumas that we hopefully recover from, or when we were kids, something happens, and we go on and we have a regular life, but it marks us some way. And sometimes we're conscious of it, and sometimes we're not. We're still a functioning person. I'm not saying people are, locked up. But, and sometimes I'll probably say something very PC, like locked up, which was horrible. so Ollie's going to keep me straight on that. But yeah, so all of those things. And we're not just going to look at the show event. We're going to talk about, here's one, how about social media and fandom in general. Old school fandom, and then fandom in the time of social media, and all of that brings up. So, bring it home really for real.
That sounds really exciting. Talking about where we are at the moment with, I've disappeared. My arm disappeared. Transporter accident. Talking about where we are at the moment with, he's talking about the quarantine situation, the lockdown, mental health. We were just talking about the future of fandom and 2020 in general. Fans are now, there's a lot more of these Zoom meetings going on. What do you think the future of fandom holds in terms of, what are your thoughts on conventions running this year, for example?
Well, so today, we just had Comic-Con go down. And at first, this happened with Emerald City Comic-Con in Seattle and with WonderCon, those February, March dates where people were making postponements, right, till September and October. And at the time, I'm like, I wonder if that's, a little premature. And the Nichelle Nichols celebration here, retirement in, was going to be the first weekend of May here in just 2 or 3 weeks. And they postponed till the first weekend in July, which was a big thing because that's the July 4th weekend here. But they figure it's 2,000 people. It was already, pretty much maxed out. If they had to delay, they would. And it's a one-time. This isn't like a con that, we'll just come back next year. It's like the one. Yeah. But at the time, I thought that might be a little early. And now that Comic-Con San Diego, which is, 150,000 people, 180,000 people. And it's the biggest single economic thing to happen in San Diego every year. So that's a huge loss, right? Even bigger than, say, STLV or some of these other Comic-Cons that have. That's huge to the city and the economy down there. But with Comic-Con going away, it's like, I don't know how they're going to be able to. I mean, I'm supposed to be a presenter and a host, and I had Trekland Trek set up around it, for people coming into town. So I'm really anxious when it happens too, but I can't see it. I can't believe it's going to happen in July. But I'm not predicting or saying anything. I'm just saying I can't believe it. But coming out of this, now you see everyone just all the May and June conventions are just saying, we're just canceling. We'll see you in 2021. Yeah. And a lot of them, like I said, are trying to do virtual panels. or other things. They're trying to do creative things. So if nothing else, next year I think we're going to have this huge dam of people going, oh, it's so good to see you again. Look, we're here back at the whatever hotel and the whatever, everyone's going to get back to their old haunt and feel good. But everything like we're doing, well, you guys have been doing this for a while, and I've been doing Portal 47 for a few years. But all this new energy about Zooming and Skype calling and all of this, that's not going to go away. That's going to be part of fandom too, I think. For everything like this, something good, there's potential for bad and loss, but there's also potential for all these silver linings.
I'm hoping that next year we'll see more conventions streaming live, so people who can't make it can still attend.
A bit more inclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the 90s, during like the .com boom, there was this whole big push about we'll do everything online too, and sell tickets, kind of like an Eventbrite or like whatever people do virtual events now, concerts and things. And there was one company that was a startup 1 year in Vegas. Somebody who used to work at Paramount on StarTrek.com in the early days. They were going to stream the whole STLV with avatars, and people pay a ticket at home. And I don't know how it worked out that weekend. I can't remember, but it didn't come back. I don't think the guy made money. I don't think it was a money-making thing. But yeah, if not, the fan cons may offer freebies or like, a $5 ticket or something. And the commercial cons may do something only probably more. But it's at least as an option. That's got to be I don't know, do big concerts, offer a live stream?
Yeah, I don't know about live stream, but it'd be interesting to know what some people watching would you pay a streaming rate for a convention, say STLV or DST? Would you do that? Would you pay a streaming rate? I mean, I love when I'm not at a convention. I just sit there and I'm hooked to the tweets. I read everything, and if there's a little video, I watch the video. So I would totally pay for it.
Things like Glastonbury live, concert, things like that. They'll be live, so there's the potential to do it.
But they probably think of those as like 2 and 3 hour things. If you've got a 2 or 3 or a 4 day convention and you have an online pass, and you could sit there and watch it 12 hours. And if it's like an all night gaming room, you could do virtual gaming with people around the world. Only you're not on your it wouldn't be Twitch, but like paper and dice, tabletop gaming, we call it now. I mean, that would be insane. People do that as gaming things, but it would be wacky to have a convention, especially like a fan convention that would have had that. I don't know.
I have to think outside the box as well, because the economic impact of the corona epidemic is people are losing their jobs. People are worried about money, so it's going to take a lot longer than 12 months to get over this sort of thing. So they're not necessarily going to be going to conventions. They might not be able to afford to go to the conventions. So they all look at other ways to make that affordable for people.
Yeah, that's actually the other side of the coin that we. That's actually Sarah. That's actually the side that people aren't thinking about. Everybody's just when we get through the germ. But yeah, the economic damage is going to be so incredible. We may have even the fan cons and maybe even the professional ones throw open the gates and no one shows up.
Exactly.
And they have to, and maybe online is a lifeline for everybody. Maybe it's more affordable for the fans, and it keeps because the other thing of this is all the actor guests. And there's an app called Cameo. You can already go and have like a 1-to-1 with some of the celebrities and sign up with it. And I was thinking about something along this line that I talked to other people about, and I've seen some of the conventions. There was a convention. It was kind of funny. Made news a couple of days ago. It was a convention in Virginia that was going to have John. Did you see this? Jonathan and Marina were going to be guests. And so when they canceled, they were going to have them on and do a live stream conversation. And Marina got into tech and couldn't do it. But Jonathan came on and talked, had like an hour panel with a couple of the hosts from the convention. And they just did that as a fill-in. But
Yeah.
a lot of the guests that depend on, convention income for their income, they're going to be hurting too. So maybe there's a win-win here where they just scale it back, go online. The conventions, fan and pro, figure out a way to do that. And some of the actors can come on, and if they do charge, 5 or 10 instead of 60, 80, 100, 300, depending on the time, then maybe there's a little, the people can afford it. They can feel like they're getting their Star Trek touch, and some of them still keep some kind of an income stream,
Yeah.
There's an interesting poll running
People
on.
might be quite afraid of big gatherings as well.
There's a poll going on TrekCore right now. Actually, it's only 2 hours old, but it's had 755 votes, asking, in the light of San Diego Comic-Con's cancellation and ongoing global health crisis, if STLV 2020 occurs as scheduled in August, would you feel comfortable attending? And 73% say they wouldn't go. Which is quite telling, isn't it? Because we've been looking at flights, haven't we? And we watched the prices soar up in January, didn't we? And then February they kept climbing, and now, whew, they are cheap.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't even trust that the airline will still be standing.
I think there will be a lot of people that are, and it will take people a long time to get over that, to feel like they're safe in big groups of people. And things like that, it has a huge impact.
We haven't been here. I mean, even if you go back to like the famous, when this all first started, I was like, all the things I thought I kind of generically knew about the Spanish flu, I knew basically when it was, but I didn't know all the details. And it's hysterical, not hysterical. It's funny, but also scary, and you can learn a lot when you actually go back and read about it or watch a documentary. For one thing, it really had nothing to do with Spain, but it got called that for a different reason. And it happened during World War I. I thought it was like after World War I when people were coming home and they spread it, but it wasn't. It was like during the war, and that's when it spread. But they didn't have all the modern. I mean, like it was 100 years ago, and they didn't have the global. They weren't flying planes around the world constantly, and there wasn't global business, and things were still kind of provincial. Unless it was like a major change, and we weren't so interdependent, and it felt like it was easier. We were all China, like everybody could like just wall off a state or a city and just kind of stay out of it. It was easier to do that than now, and we've never gone through this. And as about the time everybody starts to get used to what this, this roller coaster feels like being in quarantine. And how the different way of doing everything is, then you're out. Then it's like, how do we come out of this? And now people are starting to think about that. But you can't. The worst thing they did back then, knowing a tenth of what we do now, is that they thought it went away in the summer, and people, oh, good, that's over. And it was a more deadly killer wave in the fall than and then they thought it was really, really, really gone over the holidays, and it came back again in the spring of 1919. So anyway, I suggest everybody it's not very Star Trek, but I have these two hashtags that I do it and everything now. I say hashtag not Star Trek, and then hashtag but it is.
Everything comes back to Star Trek. We only have a few minutes. Speaking of that, I'm worried about Vegas. I'm thinking about the cruise. I'm like, oh, I want to go on the cruise, but is a cruise going to be?
You're talking about a Petri dish. Yeah. I was this year. They barely got in and off the ship.
Yeah.
This year, I was, and so many people I knew were there, fans and guests and friends, and I was like, oh, please God, don't have anything bad happen to them, and please God, don't let the Star Trek cruise be a punchline. On the news.
Yeah.
And thankfully, none of that. I heard there was still some cruise crud that happened, but thankfully not Corona.
Yeah. So we've got a couple of minutes left before our cheap free Zoom kicks us off. Are you able to share with us those links? If you would mind sharing us with those links for your non-fiction.
Yes.
Your
Tomorrow.
non-fiction.
So
And
if you Facebook, you can go to Larry Nemecek's Trekland, like always, for my Tuesday Live. Or if you're a YouTube person, you can go to Ali's channel, which is The Psych Show with Dr. Ali. That's YouTube. And Twitch, if you're a secret Twitcher, it's LS Host.
Great, cool. Well, we will be tuning in.
Yeah, and you can text in, you can chat in on all of those. We see it in one big room. Or you can even Skype and be on camera with us. And the Skype address to look for is Life Support Post.
Okay, cool, excellent. And these will be on your pages anyway, so just go make sure you're following. I know you will follow. If you're following us, you're definitely following Larry. So go check it out. Larry, thank you.
And Nonfiction Fridays in
I can't wait.
An hour and a half.
Oh my God! Okay, so everyone just stay up, and we'll see you again. And you're talking tonight. What was it again?
The Making of the Trouble with Tribbles.
Making of Trouble with Tribbles.
By
Excellent.
David Drew. Yes.
And what's your favourite non-fiction Star Trek book, Larry?
Well, The Next Generation Companion.
Mine too.
I'm totally kidding. No, The Making of Star Trek and B. Joe's Concordance, just sentimentally, because that was the big two in the beginning. Yeah.
Aww. What about you, Sarah and Carol? What's your favourite non-fiction? Sarah and Carol, what are your favourite non-fiction Star Trek books?
The TNG companion, obviously.
Excellent.
But I also have the new encyclopedia, and that is a thing of beauty.
You do love that too. Cool. Oh, thank you so much, Larry, for joining us. You've been most gracious as always. And you are our first live streamed guest as well. We thought it was Carol's idea to branch out, and we thought let's try it. So.
Well, good on you guys for stepping up too. See.
Yeah, thank you. Well, good luck with your new ventures, and we hope to have you back again soon so we can talk more. Because we just love talking and geeking out with you.
Oh, thanks a lot. Yeah,
And
I should say portal47.net.
Of course.
It's still very much there. But thanks, guys. Trek well.
Did you say there was some deal on about the portal at the moment? Oh, we've got less than a minute.
Yes, the portal. And I don't have the page up, but people, if you get a hold of me on one of my channels, I will do it. I have to build a page. But you can buy 2 months of Portal 47 for $47 and get a third month free, which is like a third off and a free month. And then I have a buy 4 months, get 6 months free as a longer term thing on Portal. So.
Fab. Oh, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us. We've probably got seconds left. So we'll see you all next week.
You guys take care.
And you, Larry, take care. Bye.